Royal Diamond is too loyal, guys. I'm back with another video. Today I'm gonna be reacting to Meet My Story. My Halloween turned into a nightmare. Before I get into the video though, subscribe to my channel, hit that notification bell, and hit that like button, guys.
It was like I was walking home in the fog, not noticing anyone around me. I was not bothered by the way the people I met on the way darted aside. It was understandable. I guess it's not very pleasant to meet death on a dark street. Hello! Do you like Halloween? So, your night before All Saints' Day obviously went better than mine. My name is Melanie, and I'm going to tell you how a costume party turned into a nightmare for me. The whole school was looking forward to that Halloween party. The preparations had been in full swing for several weeks. Everyone was picking their looks and getting their costumes ready. Mel, this is going to be the party of the year, my friend Sharon stated. But she was always the party girl, and every party was her party of the
What were
year,
those on
which was
her
not to be
feet?
missed. I never liked noisy gatherings. I planned to devote my time to my studies. Classes and preparation for them always took up most of my day. And during
Okay,
my
she was
free
in the
time,
books.
or what was left of it, I was with my boyfriend Brian. Sometimes I even managed to find an hour or two for girls' get togethers. Even if I suddenly got bitten by Sharon and passed her addiction onto me, and I suddenly had the urge to hang out in a weird costume, there would be no time to properly prepare. It was for the best. That particular Halloween night, I was planning on doing a report for my history class. If you're not going, there's nothing for me to do, Ryan said. What nonsense! You don't have to stay home all night. You have to
Did
go
she
out and
smack him?
have fun. My boyfriend denied it for a while, but a week before the party, he still began to think about the theme of his costume. I was all for it, and then came the unfortunate day. As planned at night, I wish Brian a good rest. And I wish Sharon not to throw
Hold on, guys. Y'all might hear some rain and thunder because it's raining and thunder right now. So if y'all hear it in the video, my apologies.
herself
I
at
just want to
all
let
the
y'all know
handsome
though.
guys. I sat down at the computer myself because I had long and hard work ahead of me with an enormous amount of material. An hour and a half passed. Every now and then I was distracted by the phone notifications. Here's Brian taking selfies with his best friend dressed as a werewolf. Here's Sharon
Yeah.
sneakily taking a picture of the school beauty queen deciding to be a heroine from Stephen King's Carrie. It was a surprise to me that she even knew what books were. Another half an hour, my older sister Monica knocked on my door. Studying again? My sister sat down on the edge of the bed. What about the party? I have two reports to turn in on Monday. So today, let them have.
She said her school work is more important than a party, which I don't blame her. Some parties, some people are in the party, some people are not. They want to just get their work done, make sure they get good grades. There's nothing wrong with that.
Fun without me. Today and last month and 2 months ago, my sister shook her head and then walked over the computer and turned off the monitor. Hey, I just started. I reached out my hand to turn the screen back on, but Monica grabbed my wrist. Finish it tomorrow. Mel, you're 16 years old and you're acting like an elderly professor. Youth is one time thing and you spend it with books and computers. How did you ever get a boyfriend?
But no, I feel like that's just her personality. She don't like parties. She don't care for parties. She don't have to go to the parties.
To be honest, I ask myself that question a lot. Brian was a handsome athlete, and why he paid attention to me in the first place was a mystery. And I did not dare to ask him about it. Go to the party, my sister said in a reconcilable tone. But I don't even have a costume. I'll give you the costume I sewed the year before for cosplay. It should fit. There was no point in resisting any further. I knew that once Monica had made up her mind, she couldn't be persuaded. And why not surprise Brian and Sharon and have some fun together for that matter?
Everybody gonna
An
be
hour
looking at her in
later,
her
I was getting
costume.
out of my sister's car, trying my best not to get tangled up in the hem of my long outfit. Monica had chosen the death costume for her cosplay a couple of years ago. It was a strange choice, but it had its good points. For example, a mask in the form of a skull that covers the face and allows you to save a lot of time on makeup. I felt out of place, but in the back of my mind, I was glad I hadn't dragged my Catwoman costume to the party. It would have been more
Wait a minute,
embarrassing.
hold on.
The party,
That Catwoman costume was cute though. Hold up. I need y'all to see that. Hold on.
but in the back of my mind, I was
Look at that. It showed her figure and everything. That cost I feel like everybody would have been looking at it just like how they doing now. Like come on now, that costume was cute.
glad I hadn't dragged my Catwoman costume to the party. It would have been more embarrassing. The party was
Embarrassing.
at
That's
the
cute.
coolest club in town. It could easily hold a few hundred teenagers. I entered the hall and looked around. The bright, shiny, colorful costumes, the loud music, and the strobe lights made me dizzy. There was plenty of room on the big dance floor, but the bar
I
was
see why she don't
closed.
like going to parties.
Alcoholic beverages
Too
were
loud for her,
strictly
too
forbidden
crowded,
at
and
this
too many
party.
lights.
I went to look for familiar faces, but 10 minutes later, I realized that it wasn't that easy. Even though I knew what outfits Brian and Sharon were wearing, finding them in that crowd was going to be a real challenge. Still, I'd have to text my young man and spoil the surprise a bit. I headed over to the easy chairs in the corner where the guys were lounging, tired from dancing. Luckily, there was room for me, and I sat down next to a couple, turning my back to them not to disturb them, and pulled out my phone. We must confess to her, said the girl behind me, trying to shut down the music. How much can you hide? I don't think it's
Hide?
the guy replied. I
What
tried
is he
not to
hiding?
listen to their conversation, but it was hard. You've been saying that for a month now. When is the right time? Your insecurity is making everyone suffer. Me, you, Melanie. I froze with the phone in my hands. At that second, I recognized the voices. It was Sharon and Brian. My first impulse was to turn around and give myself away, but curiosity got the better of me. I turned into one big ear and pretended to rummage through the phone. I don't think Mel will like what we did, Brian said. We did? What could my boyfriend and my best friend have done together? Who, in
Right.
fact, never really talked to each other that much. Did
That's
they pretend
weird.
they didn't want to know each other in front of me? But behind my back, they were talking and spending time together?
Yeah.
Couldn't
Oh
be.
my god.
I'm surprised she hasn't burned us yet. Oh, please, Brian.
I'm trying to figure out like, what if they messing around behind her back? Like that's crazy.
And Melanie can see anything but books and a computer.
She gonna find
Even
that
if we
out.
started kissing while we're in the same room with her, she wouldn't tear herself away from another lecture on YouTube. My eyes went black. Maybe, of course, it was the stupid mask in the stuffy room that made me lack oxygen, but what I heard was really shocking. It sounded like Brian was dating Sharon and he was afraid to tell me. Of
Wow.
course, it was my own fault. I did.
And for Sharon, like, what a friend. Like, you go behind your so called best friend back and mess with her boyfriend. Like,
Spend too much time studying. But that's not a decent reason to do me like this. I stood up with determination and was about to turn to those two traitors and tell them what I thought of them when I heard Sharon's words. We should have done it the right way. I hope no one remembered their faces or would be in serious trouble. What kind of trouble, Shar? It's stealing. It's not stealing, it's just a little trick. We're stealing someone else's stuff. Brian, let's get rid of it already. Give it to Melanie. I don't want to see it. What a twist. Yes, it would be better if they met behind my back. As if in a fog, I got to the exit from the club. The fresh air made me feel a little better, and I was finally able to collect my thoughts. My boyfriend Brian and my friend Sharon had done something really bad, and that was stealing something that belonged to someone else.
oh, they
Now
stole
they are very
something.
ashamed, but they can't admit it. The guilt and fear of being caught tormented them so much that they decided to get rid of the stolen item by planting it on me. Well, that's quite a situation. I
What?
didn't notice how I got home. You're home early, Monica said, surprised to see me on the doorstep. I just shrugged it off and went to my room. What had they stolen? Robbed the jewelry store? Robbed the hardware store on the corner? Maybe they'd stolen a suitcase full of money. I couldn't believe
Right.
that Sharon, the sissy and
Man, if they stole all
fashionista,
that
and
money,
Brian, a
shoot,
baseball
I feel
fan,
like they'd
could
be in
commit a
bigger
crime.
trouble.
They didn't seem like people capable of crime. I don't seem to know people at all. But that's not what's important right now. What do I do in this situation? Should I pretend I hadn't heard and wait to be set up? Or should I report it to the police? But then Brian and Sharon would be arrested and sent to jail.
I feel like she should find out more information somehow and do like some research or something, like detective work. I don't know, but I feel like she need more information before she goes to the police, because she barely could hear most of what they were saying and barely do know what went on, and she's kind of not sure. So I wouldn't jump the gun too quick.
And they are, after all, close people to me. Close people who broke the law and decided to pin the blame on me. How about letting my friends know that I know everything? As if arguing with an angel on one shoulder and the devil on another, I could not decide. I went back downstairs in the same death costume and sat across from Monica, who was finishing her tea. Did you get used to the role? My sister smiled. I'm not ready yet. Go away. Monica, how would you act in a difficult situation? By the law or by the call of your heart? You scared someone to death and now you're afraid to admit it? Well, let's go hide the body. I'm serious. Apparently, I looked so upset that my sister stopped sneering and thought about it. You always have to do what the law says, even when it comes to the people closest to you. What on earth have you done, Melanie? Her sister frowned, and she looked as if she was no longer amused. I didn't do anything. I just read the book and thought about the plot. This answer was fine with Monica. My sister was right. We had to follow the law. And if Brian and Sharon had broken it, I'd have to turn them into the police. But first, I have to talk to them and make sure I got it right. I dialed Brian's number and he answered almost immediately. Judging by the noise of the street in the background, he was on his way returning from the party. I'm going home. It was boring without you. And it would have been even more boring if I'd been put in jail for your crime, I thought.
Put
Out
in jail
loud,
for
I
her
asked my boyfriend
crying.
to come over to my house. And for reassurance, I added, something very scary has happened. I wrote the same thing to Sharon. My friend, though she was still having
Oh,
fun, immediately asked.
I feel like she got a plan up her sleeve now. She she about to get them worrying and making them feel like, dang, there's something happened, and they thinking like, oh crap, what happened? I know me and Sharon did this, but what happened? That's what she got him thinking. I know that.
Ask one of the older students to give her a lift to my house. The three of us were about to be confronted. They were surprised to see each other. Even more surprised they have just been with my outfit. There was silence in my living room for a few minutes. It was broken by Monica, who was going down the stairs. Death, a vampire, and a girl of easy virtue. Interesting party you have here. I'm Siri from The Witcher, outraged my friend. Brian laughed, but soon he wasn't laughing anymore. I know you've committed a crime. My voice trembled, though I tried to sound confident. I was at the party tonight and I overheard you talking. Oh shit. The guy slammed his fist on his knee.
Don't get
Oh,
mad
well,
now.
that's good, Sharon interjected. And it's good that you know nothing has to be hidden anymore. What did you steal? Stole? We didn't steal anything. Brian was indignant. Yes, we did. Sharon almost cried. Your idiot boyfriend decided to give you a Christmas present, picked out a dress, and dragged me to try it on. We're the same size. When we arrived, it turned out there was only one small size left in the whole store, and it was put aside by some man in front of us. He said his wife was going to pick it up in 10 minutes. So Brian decided
stole
that
the
I
dress.
should introduce myself as the man's wife, so we did. We walked over in 10 minutes, picked up the last dress, paid for it, and got the hell out of there. I couldn't believe my ears. This was the crime of the century I was going to send my
Wow.
friends to jail for? I never thought Sharon would be so conscientious. I had to confess that I almost called the police. It was very embarrassing. But I'm glad I still decided to figure it all out and talk to them first, and it ended safely. That's how weird Halloween was for me.
Well, that was her Halloween. Now, me, I don't really do Halloween, but thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned. I'll be back for more. Y'all know.